Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to read the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. Now, it is about the beautiful things around us created by God or nature, which give us perennial happiness. And therefore, the first line of the poem is A thing of beauty is joy forever. Now, let us first of all know about the poet. John Keats was born in London in the year 1795 and died in Rome in 1821 at the young age of 25 due to illness. He is a romantic poet, and his poetry is characterized by sensual imagery in his most popular work, which is a series of odes. Today, his poems are one of the most sought after creations in English literature. The above given poetry is an excerpt from his poem, Endymion, a poetic romance considered to be an epic poem. John Keats is categorized as a romantic poet. Romantic poet here means those poets who change their focus from the dignified topics to the nature. And all the poets who started writing about nature were called as romantic poets. The first poet was William Wordsworth, who started this trend and later on was followed by P.B. Shelley, Coleridge, and John Keats. As I told you just now, that the poem that we are going to read is just a part of the epic poem Endymion. Now, Endymion is called an epic. What is an epic? Epic is a long poem describing the life and the whole story of Endymion, that is a dignified character. In this Endymion epic, the poet has described the story of a shepherd named Endymion, and it is based on Greek mythology. It is about a shepherd named Endymion, his quest for his love Dinah, and how in his quest he falls in love with an earthly maiden who later turns out to be Dinah herself. So, epics are actually story narrated in poetic form about, and it is a very, very long poem. It is about the life of a dignified character. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. So, in these lines, the poet has said that anything of beauty gives you happiness which is everlasting. It is never short lived. It does not give you momentary happiness. So, therefore, the characteristic or the quality of a beautiful thing, or the definition of beautiful thing, can be that the thing which gives you happiness always and never fades away. Its beauty goes on increasing day by day, and it never passes into nothingness. That is, it never fades away. At the same time, it gives you everlasting happiness. So, what is a beautiful thing? According to the poet, you can define it that anything can be called beautiful which gives you everlasting happiness. And this is the feeling that the poet has. Being a nature poet, he felt that a thing of beauty is just like a shady place under the tree. Bower means a shady place under the tree. So, just as the person who is tired and who cannot bear the sun's heat feels like having a shady place to get comfort and solace and looks for the shade of a tree, similarly, what kind of feeling that person has after facing the scorching heat, this is what a person feels in his life when he looks at the things of beauty. And a sleep full of sweet dreams. What can the thing of beauty do for you? It can give you a sleep full of sweet dreams. When do you have sweet dreams? When you are comfortable, when you have a deep sleep, when you are hale and hearty. If you are sick, you will not be able to sleep comfortably. And for that, you need to be healthy, and you should have a quiet breathing. Quiet breathing means not breathing heavily due to tensions, but having a peaceful life. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dart, of noble natures of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. So, in these lines, the poet says that every person on this earth has some worries or has some anxieties and is sometimes in depression. He or she is sad. Spite of despondence means in spite of. In spite of despondence and inhuman dart, that is, the people who have no sentiments for others, the people who do not have feelings for others, and the people in such a condition who become desperate and are in depression. Of dart means lacking, lack of noble natures, and of the gloomy days. Gloomy days means sorrowful days. Of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. All the over darkened ways. All these situations of worries, anxiety, and sadness can be overcome. How? If on every morrow means tomorrow, the next day, when we wreathing means to make a flowery band to bind us to the earth. That is, the poet was a nature poet, and he felt that nature is the best source of comfort, and it heals everybody's sadness. So, the poet in these lines has expressed his feeling that anybody who is in depression or is anxious or is worried, he or she should go to nature, because nature has the power of healing and it gives you a lot of comfort. And in this way, when we go to nature and appreciate the beauty of nature created by God, then we actually are connecting ourselves to this earth. If there were no beautiful things on this earth like nature, then the earth would have been full of people who would have had cruel hearts, who are not having noble natures, who are not very sentimental, who are not having good feelings for others, and cause sadness for all the people. So, the nature, according to the poet, and all the things created by God in this nature that surrounds us is actually like a flowery band. Flowery band means something which that gives you comfort. This is the way that one can get comfort and solace from the nature. Of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, that is, the life is of unhealthy ways. That is, there are selfish people, there are people who are cruel hearted, and in such a world on this earth made for our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. And the poet feels that however a person is surrounded by the worries and the sorrows of life, but some shape of beauty, that which gives you everlasting happiness, can move away, can take away the pall. Pall is actually the the cover on the dead body. Okay, so all these sorrows and sadness and anxiety are like a cover which cover our dark spirits. Dark spirits means our souls which are sorrowful, which are sad because of the uh, hatred of the people, the selfishness of the people on this earth. And from such dark spirits, from our sad souls, a shape of beauty, that is, the things in the nature, can move away all that and cover from our dark souls. Now, in the lines further, you will see in the poem that the poet has described the things of beauty in the nature. What are the things that give us happiness? They are the sun, such the sun. Such means the things of beauty in the nature which can give you everlasting happiness are the sun, the moon, trees old and young. So, whether they are huge trees or whether they are small trees, everything or every type of tree or flowers, they give you happiness. Sprouting a shady moon, that these trees sprout, they grow because they give us shade. For simple sheep, and such are daffodils. And such are daffodils. Daffodils are a kind of flowers. They are yellow in color. They are beautiful flowers which give you happiness. You feel the joy of looking at these flowers. And simple sheep means the gentle sheep which is not cruel with the green world they live in. The daffodils are yellowish color, and the poet says that if you look at daffodils, they seem to be growing or in their green world. Green world means the whole plant with the leaves and foliage is green, and on top of them, these are the flowers in which they live. And clear rills. Rills are small river which arise from the mountains and hills. So these clear rills, what are they? They are the part of the nature which God has created. And do they not give us happiness? Yes, they do. And that is why the poet has said that these things in the nature can simply put your sorrows and sadness away. That for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. So these clear rills, how do they give us comfort? How do they give us happiness? That is, they themselves make a cooling covert, a place covered which is very cool and peaceful against the hot season. The mid forest break. It is like a break. You can take a break near the small rivers in the middle of the forest. If you are tired, and if you are tired because you have been suffering the sun's heat, and in that hot season, if you are in the middle of the forest or on the mountain tops, then if you find a small river, you get the utmost and maximum comfort there. Rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and you also get the smell, the very energizing and soothing fragrance of the musk rose. Musk rose are the type of rose which bloom or which are found in the forest areas. So these forests are they are rich with these musk rose which sprinkle the beautiful, the fragrance, the smell, which gives us happiness. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Now, in these last lines, the poet has changed his focus from nature, he says that there are other things in our lives, the other things also which give us happiness. And what is that? Such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty, the powerful people, the people who have been great, they, their grandeur, their dignified lives, they also give us happiness. So when we have imagined, means when we have come to know about these mighty people, these dignified and noble souls, we feel happy about it. So the grandeur, the grand life of these people who have met their dooms also give us happiness. All the lovely tales that we have heard or read, and all the stories that we read about these people, these noble and mighty people, they also give us happiness. And therefore, the poet ends the poem and says that all these beautiful things are like an endless fountain of immortal drink. That is, endless, again, the word refers to everlasting. Okay? Forever, endless, all these words tell you that the poet wants to say that a thing of beauty gives everlasting happiness to each one of us on this earth. And therefore, all these things of beauty are endless fountain of immortal drink. Immortal again means everlasting, pouring unto us from the heavens brink. And what is the poet's belief? He believes that all this comes from the heaven. That is, from the edges of heaven, all these things are falling, all these beautiful things are coming upon us, human beings, from God, just as an immortal fountain which gives us happiness throughout our lives. The idea of the poem. The poem conveys the message that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. It transcends time, it will never fade away. Beauty has a power to remove darkness and negativity and helps us survive when there is a dearth of noble nature or when one is surrounded by evil. So, children, now this is the central idea of the poem. I hope you must have understood it. You please write down the reference to context questions and the questions given in the PDF. Thank you.